the fact I got the ring light for this is like more passion for this than Chelsea FC have ever showed in the last 6 months. My hair's wet. I have literally no makeup on my face, so I look disgusting. And my hair's just a mess because it's just not. We'll go with that and pray it looks good. But you get to see my beautiful eyebrows, so honestly, biggest insecurity. Whatever. Chelsea FC. I was gonna say Chelsea FC 2. I fucking wish. Chelsea FC 1, Fulham 2. This isn't even about the game. I'm just done frustrated. I have not vented on here. Welcome back to my channel. It's been a long time. This is going to be unedited. I am done with this team. This team have mentally checked out. So I am going to mentally check out. I think that's on par with what we're allowed to do as a Chelsea fan at this point. My hair is such a mess. I actually want to brush it on camera. That's like levels. That's where we're at right now. Oh my god. I shouldn't have done this when my hair was wet. Let me just talk about this team because I haven't actually talked about this team on here. I've been talking about it briefly on my TikTok. If you don't follow me on TikTok, please go over there for more daily content about how much I hate this team. I upload there more than I do up here because it's hard to film YouTube videos nowadays for me. But this team is going to cause me depression. I think, lads, ladettes, Chelsea fans, it's time to start brushing up on your championship teams. Because it's looking dark. It is looking dark, and I need to charge my phone whilst I do this. So this is gonna be chaos. Deal with it. Start brushing up on your championship teams. Figure out who's not going to be here because there must be some clauses in these contracts to say they can't play in the championship. And yeah, start building a fucking under-21 team to fight for promotion. That feels like where this team are, and that is literally where this team are going to be come the end of the season. It is bleak. We are 10 points. Did people not realise we're 10 points off the relegation zone? 10 points. That's not a lot, and especially in the form we're in where we're actually not picking up literally any points, it's problematic. We play Crystal Palace. That'll be a nice little relegation fight. Love that for us. And then we play Liverpool, and it would not surprise me if these lads somehow got up for the Liverpool game on next Saturday. They got up from their beds and they thought, I'm gonna fight for the badge today. Wouldn't surprise me. But then they couldn't do it in a fucking West London derby, so I don't have hope for these players anymore. Let's talk about these players because I haven't talked about them on here, and they are done. All of them in my head, apart from a couple. I'm done with you. Get the fuck out of my club. And let's. Where do I start? Because I could actually go on about how I'm actually convinced we should give a 38-year-old a fucking 10-year deal. I'm at that point where I'm like, wheel Thiago Silva out until he's 50 because he's the only defender that looks competent, and even then he didn't have the best of games tonight, but I don't blame him considering what was around him. Aspie should have gone in the summer. Koulibaly hasn't adapted and we have to take the hit on that. Chalobah it was not one of Chalobah's best performances. Poor Lewis Hall. I genuinely think we've somehow tainted Lewis Hall. Despite him being a Cobham product, we have somehow made him shitter. Like, he was good before he came into this first team. He was academy level, you know, we were all thinking Lewis Hall's the next Cobham boy. And he just could have done better. He should have just cleared the ball, but in that... the volley. If he had scored the volley, I wouldn't be sitting here talking about this because that would have been it for me. Lewis Hall would have been my #1 star boy forever, and he still is. It's just a shame because he's not a left wing back, and I think that's my problem with where he was played. He's not a left wing back. He's not even a left back, so the fact he's been playing there is ridiculous. He's a midfielder. He's literally a left-sided midfielder, and he's being played in a makeshift position because you know what? We have no other players. Like, literally, Cucurella is just shit. But then we hooked Lewis Hall, one of our better players, for Cucurella, and it got worse. That was a Potter decision that made absolutely no sense to me. But I am at the point where I'm not questioning Potter anymore. unless Potter starts putting out the most shocking 11 I've ever seen, I'm gonna just don't get us in the relegation zone, but take the reins. On you go. Because I understand that this team is uncoachable. Poor Felix played 50 minutes with Kai Havertz and Mason Mount and said, I'm done. Call me when Ben Chilwell and Reece James are back. I'm done. I'm out. Red card, 3 games. We can't have one good thing. Because he was our one good thing today. If you take anything from that game, it's that this now 5 month. It's so funny. If I don't laugh, I might actually start crying. And there are tears welling up in my eyes at how funny and devastating this whole situation is. The 6 month, now turned 5 month loan. He said, I'm done. I'm not playing unless I have 2 fullbacks who are competent and people that can pass the ball to me. Poor Felix. I can't believe on, I think, 2 separate occasions people should have passed the ball to him and they just didn't. We have a talent in Joe Felix. I think we knew that when we signed him on a 6-month loan. No matter how much we paid for him, and you know, we're covering all his wages and whatnot, I always kind of thought, yeah, he'll transform the attack. He's not going to transform anything if people still don't want to pass the ball to him and still want to pass back. So that's a problem we need to address quickly. The midfield's a problem. I'm buying Zakaria now, even if he's injured. That's another injury. I totally forgot Zakaria got injured. That actually might be the thing that sets me off. That might be the thing that you start seeing a tear flow down my face because our most competent midfielder has gotten injured. Oh, yep, that's tears. That tastes like tears flowing down my face. Wow. Are we at the starting 11 point of injuries? We might be hitting it. We actually just need Graham Potter to get injured and we could start playing an injured starting 11. I love it out here. Can you tell? I love it out here? Oh my god, being a Chelsea fan in 2023, I didn't expect it to be. I think this hairline might actually be from the fact of Chelsea. Like, my hairline was not this bad. It's not even that bad now. I think I can cover it, but Chelsea FC, what are you doing? What are you doing to me? Let's talk about certain players, because I've pushed on the fact that half these players aren't good enough, right? I have pretty much said that start fresh, kick them all out. That's been my sentiment. If you follow me on TikTok and you've seen my videos, I'm just done with this team and done with them not performing. But let's start calling them out. Actually, before we start calling them out, a bit mishmashed, I know. I'm going to say this to all of the players. They're not watching this, but I want to air this out on behalf of everyone. All of the fans, travelling or not. When you don't clap to the away end, I don't care if they travel 30 fucking minutes down the fucking city. I don't care what they fucking did. Whether up the country, in a different country, next door. If you don't clap the away end, you make it easier for them to pick on you. And now, granted, their performances being picked on is warranted in my opinion. Some of these players that are not clapping the fans, they are rightfully being picked on, and I think that's why they're not clapping the fans. If you've seen the tweets, you know who they are. I can literally remember, I think, Jorginho, Havertz, Ziyech off the top of my head. I know, I think for 2 games in a row now, 2 away games in a row, I think it's been them. Like, a general consensus. But if you don't clap the away end, you make it 10 times easier for them to pick on you. If you want the fans on your side and, you know, you want that player power to win, like you seem to have done throughout the past 2 seasons under Tuchel and Lampard, get the fans back on your side. But right now, you're the ones that are getting chanted at. Yeah, we're singing Tuchel chants and Roman Abramovich chants. That's just, well, we're shithousing that point. When we're chanting you're not fit to wear the badge, We're not talking to Potter. Potter's not the one on the pitch. Potter's not the one wearing the badge performing. It's you guys. So when you don't clap the away end, and it was especially, I think it was at City, I read that, I got livid. It's not the first time it's happened this season. It's not the first time recently. Like, they've been consistently not clapping the away end for a while now. They'll want you out, and rightfully so for some of your performances. That was my little tidbit, because it kind of does flow nicely into who isn't good enough. Who should we be chanting at that you're not fit to wear the badge? I'm going to start off bold, I'm going to say it, and you're going to hate me for it. Mason Mount. Demanding 300k a week. Get the fuck out my club. Get the fuck out. I've had enough of the Mount fanboys. I'm done. I'm done with the Mount fanboys. You're trying to tell me this man is vital to the way we play? Get out. Get the fuck out. Whatever he's on now, he's not even worth. The fact he's demanding, or tried to demand 300k a week, is absolutely ludicrous to me. The fact he won't sign a 6-year deal, ludicrous to me, when he's supposedly Chelsea through and through. If you don't want to stick around and be here and be through the tough times, and this goes to all the players, get out. Because it's your fault that we're in this situation. It's not us fans. We're the ones paying the money for tickets. We're the ones watching you week in, week out and getting disappointed and we're the ones getting the stick. Because we choose to support Chelsea. So the rival fans are on our backs. They're actually, you just have to put in the performances to make us get the stick. It's not on us. The fact that Mason Mount is cruising off of one good season and a stat pad season. I'm going to call it out. I think last season he stat padded. He was not fantastic last season. If you remember watching it back, if you think about last season, I go, who really was our best player last season? And yes, I take into account injuries and whatnot, and I take that into account now as well, but I still say Thiago Silva was our best player last season. He is the reason we weren't lower in the league. Rudiger, one of our better players last season. I go to our defence last season before I go to Mason Mount. Before I go to that attack, because Mason Mount for me is part of that attack. For as much as people want to say midfielder, he's an 8. He's not breaking into that midfield. When we're looking at midfielders, instead of, oh, Mason Mount's an 8, we should just play him there. When we're looking at midfielders, that is a problem. Because you're not seen as an 8. Whether that's because you can't play there, if Potter doesn't trust you there, you can't even play as an attacking midfielder. You can't play. If you can't play as an attacking midfielder, you expect him to play an 8, which is like in between the both. And when he can't play a simple pass, when he's losing the ball, that would make the midfield's worse if you put Mount in that 8 position. So what's your excuse? Because if you're saying Mount's an 8, well, he's not breaking in there anytime soon, is he? So you should be taking his chances, right? You should be, if he plays as a 10, if he plays as a winger, take your chance. I don't think I've seen Mount in worse form. Whether it's a bad season and you've just got to hope it's a Rashford style season for him and he bounces back. If I'm looking at come the end of August next season and he's not bounced back, I cut my losses. You get someone else. You get someone else. Realistically, you're not losing anything on Mount. You're gaining somehow. You somehow gain money on Mason Mount. When I think of Cobham, and when I think of who's come out of Cobham recently, and I go, that's a real talent, Reece James is my first thought. I don't think of Mason Mount. I'm sorry to the Mount fanboys, you'll hate me for it, but I just don't see it in him. I don't see the fight. He's making stupid tackles. That goes to all of the team. And Felix included in that for a straight red card tonight. It just doesn't seem... You can't be telling me that Potter can't coach some of these players. You can't tell me... It's not just Potter. Tuchel towards the end of his time at Chelsea. Lampard towards the time of his end of the time at Chelsea. You can't tell me it's just the managers. To quote a certain Tuchel, in pre-season this season, it might have been after the Arsenal loss, I really don't remember. I choose to forget pre-season because it was a tough time waking up at like 2 o'clock in the morning to watch these stupid ass games. I did that shit and I got scarred every time I did. But he was quoted probably the most real thing that I don't think the players nor the owners wanted to hear at that time, but they should have listened. We have the same problems because we have the same players. When you look at this team and you compare it to last season, yeah, we've got rid of a few, but the bulk of the problem's still here, and you're going to struggle to get rid of a lot of them. Jorginho will go on a free. If you renew Jorginho's contract, that's the stupidest thing, and I will lose my head at that. Aspie needs to go. I mean, Koulibaly, cut your losses. He's clearly not adapted well. And the fact we've signed a new centre-back, Levi Colwell's coming in, I think you can actually, if Napoli want him back, cut your losses. Whatever. It's done at that point. I mean, the attack needs a complete fucking revamp. Pulisic and Ziyech, I mean, granted Pulisic is injured, so I'm not going to say much on him just now, because I think before he got injured, there was something building in him, but he still wasn't there. Ziyech needs to go. Kai Havertz, oh god, do I need to talk on Kai? I think I do. And this is going to come from someone who actually thinks Kai Havertz is a talent. I don't know whether it's been wasted here or not, and we'll have to see. If he does leave, does he reignite himself? But when I think of where we are right now, playing under Potter, I compare my two German attackers from last season, in Werner and Havertz. Right now, under this system, I would have kept Timo in a heartbeat. I would have cut my losses on Kai. I think in the summer you actually probably would have got more money from than you would now. So I think we're going to cut our losses even more on that. But when I look at the way that I think Potter likes to play, and, you know, with probably Felix coming in now, I think Timo would have been... It would have worked nicely. I think Timo would have suited Potter so much better than Kai. A pacey forward. Yeah, granted, there was problems with Timo as well. There's problems with all our attackers. But Timo's work ethic, I think, would have prevailed. And yes, Kai gets back and whatnot. But I always used to think when Timo was on the pitch, he at least cared. He at least played for the badge. And it doesn't even seem like Kai wants to do that anymore. And is he still living off of that one goal where he rounded Ederson? Does he think that's his Chelsea career over and done with? You're in a situation now where you really have to look at it and go, I think he's got 2 years left on his deal at the end of the season or something like that. 2 or 3 years. Cut your losses. Really, you have to start being ruthless with this team. No matter where we end up, Nkunku's coming. That's done, no takebacks. Sorry, you're stuck. You're coming to relegation FC. He's probably coming to the championship. Come on, Nkunku, join the club, join the fun. If they choose to sign Felix, there's probably no obligation in the deal, or option. So I don't know whether if it works out, if it's a good little 5-month loan. Nkunku, Leao, get yourself another winger. You've got the young striker, who they were thinking about sending out on loan, and I probably think they're gonna keep him now because our attack is so shit and injury ridden right now. But yeah, this team just needs an overhaul. And I can't really at this point be like, sack Potter. I can't. I can't, because I want the nature of this club to change. I want the coming and goings of managers to stop, and it has to stop, because no team is built on sacking and hiring and firing and rehiring. Like, no team is built on that. No team is sustainable. That's not a sustainable way, and it's a miracle we have survived the Roman Abramovich era doing that and still picking up trophies along the way. We fluked a lot of our trophies, let's be honest about it, lads. We probably didn't we definitely didn't deserve the first Champions League. That was a fluke. Biggest fuck I've ever seen, but I'll take it. Gave me the best night of my life. Honestly, I think that night reigns supreme over Porto. Probably because it's the first one, but whatever. But do I look at Bowley and co in this situation and go, have you partially created this mess? Yes. My anger doesn't ever go towards the managers. It goes towards the players, yes, because they're in this situation and they're on the pitch. They're the ones doing this to us. They're the ones that can't seem to actually play football. It's actually like watching your local football team, but like not your great local football team. Like your really shitty your really shitty teams that like just can't, it's just not looking good, you know? And it's clear they're never going to get offered a contract somewhere. It's like watching them. But then I also have to look at Bowley and co. And I go, you dropped a shit ton of money in the summer on a manager who you were not too sure on, because there was a bit of, clashing behind the scenes. And I go, okay, you fired Tuchel because there was clashing. It was clear you weren't going to work. Clear. Fantastic, clear as day. You're telling me that clashing didn't happen before the end of the summer transfer window. I think when I will always stand on the fact that Tuchel was fired in the most awkward time for the new manager to come in, and that's on Bowley. Tuchel can't sack himself. He didn't want to sack himself. He didn't even want to go. Tuchel got sacked at the worst time for Potter coming in. And let's just be honest here. And if you don't understand this, I can't make you understand it. But you simply just understand. Todd Bowley created this mess. Todd Bowley is the reason this squad is even worse than it was before Tuchel had a summer transfer window. Because if you think about it, if Todd sacks Thomas Tuchel at the start, before they've spent any money together, makes sense, because he can justify it. He can justify it. He sacked Marina, let Petr Cech leave. You go, I kind of want to take this club in my direction. I appreciate all that you've done for the club, but I'm going to go my own way and hire a manager of my own. That would make sense. It's Potter's own direction. It probably wouldn't have been popular with the fans, but it still wasn't popular with the fans when he did it. So it would have made sense had he sacked Tuchel before they spent any money, so that Potter, who would have still been at Brighton, yes, but Potter, before we would have sold Billy Gilmore, could have come to Chelsea in a summer transfer window, in a pre-season, and he could have looked at the squad, could have looked at the youngsters, the academy boys coming back, and could have used that money that we spent far more wisely. And we wouldn't be saying, we potentially wouldn't be saying our likes of Koulibaly failed, because he might not be here. Because you know what? Levi Colwill might still be here. We might not be saying, let's just pay the 25 million for Zakaria because it's better than anything else we've got. Because Billy Gilmore might still be here. Callum Hudson-Odoi might actually be here Timo Werner might be here and Kai Havertz might have been gone. When you think about players that would have suited Potter better, who are maybe not here, who we've sold, Bowley fucked up. I just hit my straw. Bowley fucked up. That's my main issue with Bowley. And maybe I've not articulated it the best, but if you don't seem to understand that Bowley caused the problem by sacking Tuchel and hiring Potter when he did, by I think it was a week or two into September. That is your worst time. Because Tuchel never got to use the squad that he purchased. Aubameyang, a Tuchel signing. That's the only reason Aubameyang was here, because he wanted to be reunited with Tuchel. So you fired him, brought in Potter, and it just doesn't make sense. You bought players that were for a back three system, pretty much. And that's not the way Potter wants to play. And you've fucked up. This is my issue. Okay, it's not with Potter and it's never been with Tuchel. I think we all know that. Yes, Tuchel made mistakes, don't get me wrong. But when you're given a full summer transfer window, your mentality is, oh, I'm going to stick with this squad for a season. Makes sense. New regime, they'll give me a bit of time. I'll buy who I want and we'll see how this goes. What did you expect Tuchel to do? Not buy players? And then Potter's coming into an even more jumbled up squad. Now it's an amalgamation of even more managers. It's not Tuchel's problem that Potter's left with this squad. It is Bowley's problem that Potter is left with this squad. So now he's stepped back. He's probably realised, I've created a whole bunch of fucking mess. I've spent a whole fucking ton of money under a different manager, and it's not really worked out because we've got a starting 11 filled with injuries and these players can't play. That's my problem. My problem, I think, is actually more with Bowley than anyone else. Players, Bowley, everyone else. Players come first in this situation. Performances are a fucking disgrace. To quote the words of one Sir Mighty Didier Drogba, it's a fucking disgrace. So I guess my final point, and it's my point that I keep making whenever I say anything, stop defending these players, call them out, back the manager. Because the manager is not going anywhere. I think that's, unless it gets really bad, Potter's sticking around. Stop protecting your favourite players. Just stop doing it. Because you're making yourself look like an idiot when they start putting out stinkers week after week. And then let Potter tear up this squad. Just let Potter rip this squad to shreds because it needs it. It really needs it. And we go next season. This season, in fucking January, it is still January. I feel like I have aged 20 years and we're still only in January. I'm going to be bald by the end of this season. I'm actually going to be bald and I've just had a haircut. Great. Fantastic. Better start rocking the bald look. Better call Pep for some advice. But yeah, just it sucks, but you have to just let it happen. Let the bad performances happen. Take it on the chin, and you know the situation as fans. So just let it happen, I guess. Don't cry about it. Start supporting a championship team. I might support Burnley for a little bit. That's how bad it's getting. So yeah, I just needed to come on here and rant because I haven't ranted on here yet, and I think a nice little ramble, a nice little, rant is always fun. A nice unedited rant. I think a half an hour rant about Chelsea was very much needed for my mental health. But I think you all needed to know how I felt, and this was a nice little comeback for a little bit. So I hope you enjoyed this video. Follow me on my TikTok if you want to see more videos like this, obviously shorter, but I post more about Chelsea and my thoughts on there more frequently because it's easier. So throughout the season you'll see more on there. I suggest go follow my TikTok, go follow my Instagram as well. And I'll see you whenever I see you next. Hopefully I'm not bald by the end of the season. And hopefully we're not in the championship. If not, Luton Town away, anyone? See you guys in the next video. Take care. Ugh, I'm gonna go grey.